lose your happiness the day something went wrong. You lost it the second you decided how things should go. That friend who didn't show up the way you pictured, the promotion that felt empty the moment it arrived, the person who promised you the world and then went silent. None of that pain came from what happened. It came from a gap, the space between what you expected and what actually showed up. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll never look at disappointment the same way again. Two of history's sharpest philosophical traditions, Stoicism and Buddhism, already solved this 2,000 years before psychology had a name for it. Section 1. The gap that's running your life. Here's a fact that will change how you see every disappointment you've ever had. Psychologists call it the expectation disconfirmation model. It says your happiness isn't measured by what happens, it's measured by the distance between what happened and what you expected. Same exact outcome, two different expectations, two completely different people walking away from it. A $40 dinner feels like a win if you expected $80. That same $40 dinner feels like a punishment if you expected $20. The food never changed. Your nervous system did the math on the gap, not the meal. And here's the part that should genuinely unsettle you. Your own brain is rigging this game against you. Psychologist Daniel Gilbert's research on effective forecasting proves humans are almost comically bad at predicting how something will make us feel. We overestimate the high, we overestimate how long it'll last, we shoot a high-definition movie of the future in our heads, and then reality, which is always grainier, always messier, never stood a chance against the version we already lived in our imagination. So by the time the real moment finally arrives, you're not even there for it. You're too busy comparing it to a film only you watched.
Section 2. What the Stoics knew. Almost 2,000 years before a single psychology lab existed, one man had already cracked this code. Not with data, but with brutal, unflinching self-honesty. Epictetus was born into slavery. He understood suffering at a level most of us will pray we never touch. And out of that, he built one ruthless dividing line that still cuts straight through modern life. Things up to you and things not up to you. Your effort, up to you. Your attention, up to you. Your character, up to you. The outcome? Someone else's behavior? Whether they keep their word? Never up to you. Not once, not ever. Here's what expectation actually is, stripped down to the bone. It's the moment you secretly move something from not up to me into up to me. You start treating someone else's choice like it's your property, and when the world, which never signed your contract, refuses to comply, you don't just feel disappointed, you feel betrayed by a promise nobody actually made you. Seneca said it in a single line sharp enough to leave a mark. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. The waiting, the expecting, the mental rehearsal of a future that hasn't happened, that does more damage than the actual event ever could. And no, this isn't permission to stop caring. The Stoics weren't teaching numbness, they were teaching precision. Pour everything you have into what's yours, your effort, your honesty, your discipline. Then hold the outcome with an open hand, not a fist. Section 3. What the Buddhists knew. On the other side of the planet, with zero contact with Stoic Greece or Rome, an entirely different tradition arrived at the exact same answer. The second noble truth names the root of all human suffering in one word: tanha, craving, attachment. And not attachment to people, attachment to one specific version of how things have to turn out. In this framework, expectation is never neutral. It's a quiet form of grasping. You're not just hoping, you're gripping a single outcome and silently declaring that your peace lives or dies by whether it arrives exactly that way. The answer isn't apathy, it's non-attachment, fully showing up for life while loosening your grip on how it resolves. You water the seed, you don't dig it up every hour to check if it's growing the way you imagined. 2 civilizations, 0 contact, the same diagnosis. The suffering was never in the world. It was always in the grip.
But here's the version that actually breaks people. The one nobody warns you about. What happens when the expectation wasn't even yours to begin with? When someone handed it to you? They promised you help. They promised consistency, presence, love, and then slowly or suddenly they went cold, stopped caring, disappeared into a version of themselves you don't recognize. This isn't ordinary disappointment. This is a broken, implicit contract, and your brain doesn't treat it lightly. When someone consistently shows up a certain way, your mind doesn't file it as nice but optional. It encodes it as a prediction it can bank on. So when they go cold, you're not just losing their help. You're hit with prediction error, the exact mechanism that fires when reality rips apart a pattern your brain trusted as fact. That's why it doesn't just feel sad. It feels like the floor moved. Here's where Epictetus gets uncomfortable and necessary. Their promise was never fully up to them to guarantee in the first place. People's future selves shift in ways even they don't predict. So when you built your hope on someone else's word, you built it on the most unstable ground that exists, another person's future will. And here's where the Buddhists cut even deeper. You're not only grieving their coldness, you're grieving a version of them, the one who made the promise, who showed up, who cared out loud. That version was never permanent. Nothing is. Holding on to who they were when they promised you everything, instead of who they're choosing to be right now, is what keeps the wound open long after they moved on. Remember this line, because it will save you the next time someone's silence breaks your heart. Their promise was their character on display. Your expectation was your hope wearing their words. When they changed, only one of those things actually broke.
So the next time that familiar sinking hits you, that quiet collapse of disappointment, don't reach for the person first. Don't reach for the outcome first. Reach for the question. What did I expect this to be? And was it ever truly mine to demand? You were not weak for feeling the gap. You were human. But now you know something most people will go their entire lives without learning. The gap was never proof the world failed you. It was proof you handed the world a script it never agreed to follow. Hold your effort tightly. Hold your expectations loosely. That is where your peace has been hiding all along. If this video hits you differently, subscribe. More videos like this are coming. Every one of them will make you look at yourself, your mind, and the people around you in a way you never have before. The bell is there for a reason. Turn it on. I'll see you in the next one.